As the Cleveland Cavaliers storm back down 16 in Game 7, defeating the Orlando Magic, we've officially put the pin in round 1 of the NBA playoffs. Which means it's time for round 2 predictions. Before we do that, let's recap my rights and wrongs in the first round. I chose the Wolves in 6 games to defeat the Phoenix Suns and was flamed for it. The Wolves won in 4, so I suppose I was a little bit too generous. I picked the Nuggets in 5 games and was dead right about that over Los Angeles. I chose the Clippers in 7 games, then proceeded to double down by making a video about it and was wildly wrong. To be fair, in my initial prediction, not my second prediction, I'd figured that Kawhi would have made it through this entire series. Again, I was very wrong. And capping off the Wild West, I chose the Thunder in 6 games following Zion's injury in the play-in, although they were swept by Oklahoma City. Out east, I had Boston in 6, they won in 5. I chose the Knicks in 7, and they won in 6. I then selected the Cavs in 5, claiming that they would shock a lot of people. I was wrong, they had me shocked with injury and underperformance. And finally, I chose the Bucks to win in 7 games and was also very wrong about that. Now let's waste no more time and get started with the Denver Nuggets and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Currently, the Wolves have a 1-0 advantage at the making of this video. However, I still have Denver winning in 6 games. It took a lot to go wrong for the Minnesota Timberwolves to steal game 1, and that's not a slight, that's not a backhanded compliment at the Wolves. They played their asses off that game. I'm just saying, I remember while I was watching this one, I thought, man, 0 first half points for Murray, a 1 for 6 start from Nikola Jokic, and Anthony Edwards was torching Denver in the first half. Can this get any worse? And then I proceeded to watch Rudy Gobert hit a mid-range bank shot elbow jumper at the shot clock's buzzer beater in the clutch, and I realized, holy, the Denver Nuggets, this is just not their game. But that doesn't mean this can't be Denver's series. While I did notice them struggle on the glass, I do think this is to be expected, and I do think this is going to be a reoccurring problem that Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon are going to have to rise to the occasion as champions do. However, they are arguably the best team from behind in the NBA. So trailing in these games, or like right now, being down 0-1 is nothing to fear if you're a Denver fan. Although I love on NBA Twitter, it took 1 game, 1 loss at home for the community to just turn their backs on Denver. Fair weather fans are a few words that come to my mind. I think Minnesota's defense will prove to be insanely important in this series by slowing down Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, but it doesn't seem like they have an option for the overall firepower that is Denver. Their depth, they were able to flex a little bit of that in game 1. I will note, I love how Anthony Edwards is taking that Jamal Murray matchup so personally, and Aaron Gordon was rather effective in game 1, which is great considering he is playing in that dunker spot versus the defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert, who excels at rim protection. Ultimately, I think it'll be Denver's championship mindset and that next guy out mindset paired with the leadership of Nikola Jokic that will trump the Minnesota Timberwolves. In game 1, we just saw Reggie Jackson and Michael Porter Jr. and KCP stepping it up on defense and on offense, and just with their overall energy. When Jokic and Jamal were struggling, the team was there to pick them right back up. This Denver team is very gifted, and their bench will need to viciously step it up though to get this thing done. Next, we have the Mavs and the Thunder. I'm going to select the Mavericks in 7 games. This series should prove to be one for the future, and I say that meaning that the time is now for these younger teams. The Phoenix Suns, the Clippers, the Lakers, they are all out of the playoffs. Seeing Shea, Kyrie, Luka, J-Dub, all of these guys in one series sounds like a whole lot of shot making. I will make a side note, obviously Kyrie's been there, he's done that, he's one of the most clutch playoff performers of all time. I just love to lump him in because he deserves a ton of credit. However, I think Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively will prove to be the X factors in the series. You can't give enough credit to their energy and the effort that they play with. They're both terrific role man and they're very solid rim protectors. Not to mention the vocal approach that Derek Lively brings to the game is absolutely awesome. It's very rare that you see someone as young as him call out every screen, every rotation. I just love to see it. I am interested to see how the Mavs are going to approach guarding Shea, as he is known to get his momentum going at the free throw line even when he's going through a slump in the middle of a game. I'd figure maybe you start with Derek Jones on him. He's very bouncy, he's very laterally quick, or you maybe have a mixture of PJ Washington and Josh Green in limited minutes. I'm not sure if Josh Green is laterally quick enough to stay with him, but that, could definitely pose some problems for the Dallas Mavericks. The Thunder have an array of defenders, Lou Dort, the Dortcher Chamber, that they can throw at Kyrie and or Luka, depending on who's getting hot on what given night. This series is a big step for Dallas. The Clippers are older and they have a lot less to give on defense, while the Thunder are nimble, they're young, they're prepared for every minute of this series. Next out East starts my bold takes. I guess in these videos I try to have at least one bold take. I have the Knicks sweeping the Pacers. I think this is going to be a wake-up call that Indiana desperately needs. I don't love the way they handled themselves winning their first playoff series since Paul George. I definitely do expect some swagger. I expect them to be a little bit smug, but you played against a wounded Buck, and that's no pun intended. If Giannis played that series, it could go very differently. If Bobby Portis doesn't get ejected in that game, it goes very differently. If Dame wasn't hurt, blah, 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 you get the point I'm trying to make. I do think in the series, Jalen will chop down Miles, the Tree, and company, while OG and Josh Hart will make Tyrese's life on offense a living hell by clogging up those passing lanes, by just sticking on their hip. Finally, we have the Cavs and the Celtics. Now, it's weird to say that the Cavs have had Boston's number the last couple years, but those were in the Grant Williams days. But now I feel like with an injured Allen, I think the brakes are a bit pumped here. I have Boston in 5 games. Tatum looks like a second or third option. Majority of this playoffs, he hasn't looked great other than that first game when he had that triple-double. I just don't see a way Cleveland can handle the overwhelming pressure that is the Boston Celtics. Derek White will probably, make Mitchell shoot 30, 35 shots a night on an inefficient clip. And then if Garland continues to struggle even half of what he has been in this Orlando series, he's just been nowhere to be found, and it's been taking Max Strus a couple quarters to kick it into things. Karis LeVert has been inconsistent from downtown. Evan Mobley looks like a shell of himself. You get the gist. But what do you guys think? What do you make of this video? What do you make of my predictions? If you made it this far, I appreciate your support as always. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay happy, healthy, and blessed. Peace.